This summer on the Edward Lorn channel, we figure out how quickly Edward Lorn can get through a review without turning into a literal swamp. Hello everybody, E here. Welcome back to another book review, kinda. When I talk about nonfiction, I tell stories about myself. And you guys have to sit and listen. No, I'm just kidding. But I do try to review the nonfiction that I read nowadays. Just a little history. Before about a year ago, I didn't review nonfiction because I didn't feel like I felt that was like a window into my own private life, the kind of stuff that I read for education or that interests me, and because I'm a public persona, I write under several different names, not just this one. I tend to stay away from stuff like that because I would much rather people judge me on the content that I want out there in the world and not the content that I myself consume for me, myself, and I. So today we are talking, anyways, that's changed. I don't know why it's changed, but I've stopped thinking that way and I decided to let y'all in. So today we're talking about So You've Been Publicly Shamed, which was a gift from me from my good friend Susan Burgess. She sent it to me. I've been wanting to read this forever. I just haven't got to. And if you are on the conservative side of the fence and you're going, it's getting awfully liberal in here, I want you to know you don't have to tread carefully. I got Milo Yiannopoulos' Dangerous up on deck right now. I'm reading that one. I'm about halfway through it. I'm loving it. Also, I have White by Bret Easton Ellis that I'm going to be reading because all of my liberal friends are like, don't read this. So of course, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Sorry. The more you tell me not to, the more adamant I am about actually doing it. Because I don't like being told what to do. So shh. But anyways, So You've Been Publicly Shamed. This is a book that I found very interesting. I'm gonna give it the TLDR is I'm giving it an easy 5 stars. Jon Ronson he confesses that he's a liberal, but I mean he's more middle of the line because nowadays both liberal and conservative, if people like I'm a liberal, I'm a conservative, usually they're on the extremist side of things. Usually, I know I have some very intelligent people who are self-confessed conservative and self-confessed liberals, and they are easy-minded, easygoing, the great people. But usually, when you get those type of people who are arguing, those are the extremists. And sometimes the extremists have a point, sometimes they don't. Most of the time they don't, to be honest. Because life is not black and white, it's a series of gray areas. I think Ronson actually says something like that in here. I can't remember what. Let's see here. Let me go through my see if I actually not clicked on it. I almost said clicked on it. Oh, this one's great. This is a great quote. We were creating a world where the smartest way to survive is to be bland. Basically, right there in the middle. Not white or black, but gray. I myself, my personal story is, if you're not here for like language or lewd conduct or whatever, you might want to go away. But my personal story is I have a very weird relationship with shame. When I was in my young life, I was shamed all the time, constantly by my father. Fat shamed, sexuality shamed, just shamed constantly by my dad. And then as time went by, I hit puberty, I actually, grew up. Now when I say sexuality shamed, when I was a kid, I loved playing with toys, period. I played with baby dolls, I played with Barbies, I played with G.I. Joes, I played with everything, man. I was an equal opportunity player. Legos, Polly Pockets, all that ish. Shit, I keep saying ish. I don't know why. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to censor myself. I just keep saying it because I find the word very funny. All that shit I used to play with, and my dad would like, you're a boy, play with boy toys. And then I would like secretly be in my closet, literally in my closet, playing with like Polly Pocket and shit. Or Rainbow Bright, not Star Bright, Rainbow Bright, My Little Pony. All that stuff is epic to me. Whatever. And then when I hit high school after puberty and everything, and I was settled in and I knew who I was, kind of, there was a place down the road from my school I used to ditch all the time because I got picked on all the time in school. So I rarely ever went to school. I was a reader. I would ditch and I would go and read books. Then we had this place called the Greenhouse, which if you've read Bay's End, you know about the Greenhouse. I would go to the Greenhouse and I would sit under, it's a big building with green plastic for a roof. that literally when the sun shined, the inside was green, so we called it the greenhouse. And I used to sit in there and I used to read. And they had this huge I think there used to be an elevator in the middle of the room that would take things down from one storage area to the next. And I would sit on the edge of that and I would read my book and swing my legs and whatnot, and I'd just chill out. One of these days I had to pee. So I'd whip my junk out and I peed over the edge of it. There were 4 boys watching me. I had no idea they were watching me. And they didn't take pictures or anything. Cell phones weren't around. Well, picture phones weren't around back then. They could have had camera, but they didn't, I don't think. But they went back and they told everybody at school that I was jacking off in the greenhouse. Now, I wasn't jacking off. I was just taking a piss, but I did have my dick on my hands. Whether or not they actually believed, not my dick on my hand on my dick, because I was pissing. Whether or not they believed I was jacking off or not, I don't know. But that, with them sharing that, the purpose of that was to shame me. And I felt shame. I felt a lot of shame. And then I realized that the people who were making fun of me, and this was a click, this was a light switch click. The people who were making fun of me weren't people I wanted to be around anyways. The people who were so adamant about making me feel shame weren't the people that I was trying to hang out with. My friends didn't care. They didn't even ask me, yo, were you beating your dick in the greenhouse? They didn't ask me any of that stuff. All they did is like, hey man, you want to go hang out? Hey man, you want to go see the movies? Hey man, this, that, and the other. My friends, the people that I cared about, didn't care. I went home and I told my mom. I didn't tell my dad because my dad would have been like, were you beating your dick? You deserved it. My dad was an asshole, y'all. Let's just go ahead and get that out of there. He was a complete and utter douchebag. He lived off my mother for 25 years before she finally kicked him to the curb. She took care of him in sickness, health, and everything. He never worked a day they were married. She had to work 2, sometimes 3 jobs to take care of him. He refused to work, and when he did work, he mowed lawns so he could get beer and cigarette money. This guy was a douchebag. But the whole point of this is to talk about shame. My personal belief is that shame should not exist. I mean, there's a certain moral compass that you have to get through life and whatnot, but I don't feel that shame is a motivating factor. I don't, but that's because of my own personal experience. It clicked for me that the people who cared about me would never make me feel ashamed. They wouldn't. That clicked early on for me. It clicked. So I was very interested to read, especially in this cancel culture and outrage marketing and all that stuff, but we did a discussion video for that. It's up on the channel if you guys want to go watch it. It's called Ruminating on Cancel Culture and Outrage Marketing. I learned very early on that you can sway people's beliefs by pissing them off. You can make them go and do things by pissing them off. If you're, let's say, if you've read my blog, my most recent blog on my website, or my blog website, not my website, but I have some choice words for Paul Tremblay. But at the bottom of that, you will notice that there's a link to Paul Tremblay's books. Because I want to know, and I get every single time someone clicks on that link because I use my Amazon affiliate account, well, I do get paid, but I also get to know how many times people clicked on it. And guess what? People been clicking on it, yo. If you piss someone off, that is going to sway them just as much as if you like something. So my entire adult career has been focused on pissing more people off than I have liking, whether it be in reviews or whatever it might be. If you can lead people to certain things by by upsetting them. But if you feel any kind of shame, that's not going to work for you. If you care about what other people think about you and are upset, and people when people think that you're not a perfect person, you're not, by the way. If you feel that kind of way, then shaming you, of course, is going to work. It's going to motivate somebody who has shame. And that's pretty much what Ronson goes through in this book. It's all about them trying to manipulate how that person is feeling. You want to shame them so they stop a certain behavior. He also goes into a brilliant aspect here that you rarely see. I'm going to go ahead and lay it out there for you, conservatives. You rarely see conservatives agree with this type of thing, which is he says that his fellow liberals have gone too far. They've gone too far shaming people over bad jokes. Now, there's a difference between racism and bad jokes. So we've had this discussion before. There's several times he brings it up in this book. There's the Justine Sacco, I think. She says she's going to Africa. Sure hope I don't catch AIDS. Oh, never mind, I'm white. That's not a racist. That's just a bad fucking joke. Do I think she's racist based on that? No. Might she be racist? Yes. But that bad joke is just a bad joke to me. And of course, I'm white people privilege, all that stuff. You know, of course I'm not going to see it that way. But I don't think that she's a racist. Now, if she were like, if she literally believed that she would not catch AIDS because she's white, that would be considered a racist. That's a white supremacist type of thought process. But he goes on to say how, and especially when he meets the judge. I don't want to spoil this for anybody. When the judge says, when Jon says, we might, we're pretty scary, and then the judge says something like, yeah, you are scary. When he meets the conservative judge that was all about shaming people that came through his court. And I am dying of heat stroke over here, but let's try and get this review done so I can turn the air back on. I turn it off so you guys don't hear in the background. But it's something to be said for people that are so over the top and brutal, like this judge that he discusses in the book, for him to say, yeah, you social justice warriors, you guys are scary. Because we do hold this power, and I have even been on the shame train. Look at my piece that I did on Nocturnal Reader's Box. That was to shame him into doing the right thing. So I've done the same thing myself, and I've done it several times in the past. When the Stop the Goodreads Bully thing came about, that's old school book community. That's old school stuff. There was that, and then there was the Anne Rice debacle where she was hunting down and giving out reviewers' addresses because she didn't agree with them. And then there was the Kathleen Hale thing that I was a part of also, because Kathleen Hale literally went to a reviewer's house to stalk them. There's been several times, but it's the actual activity that hurts people that I jump on board and I'm like, hey, stop doing this shit. And when somebody's telling a bad joke, I leave stuff like that alone because it's too easy. But he also discusses in here how women get the majority of the hate. You got the guys where the guys will lose their job and they're shamed or whatnot. But when a woman is shamed online, it's, I'm going to rape that bitch, I'm going to kill that cunt. That kind of language is used. So there's a definite misogynistic culture to go along with this shaming, yet these people call themselves social justice warriors, or they call themselves liberals, or however you want to call yourself. They think they're the hero. Now, am I the hero in like the Nocturnal Reader's Box situation? I don't think there is a hero. I think it was a fucked up situation, and I wanted to get the truth out there, so more people did not get screwed over. Luckily, and I will say this is my honest belief, most of the people who got screwed over, that was disposable income. These are not people, and if they were using, money that, and it doesn't make it right, but I'm just saying it's less of an offense because it's not like he was stripping, homes and rent checks out from people. This is disposable income. He's still a douchebag for doing it, and he still hasn't paid it back. But I don't think it's as much as if he had went to somebody's house and stole their rent check. So there is different levels of shaming, there's different levels of crime. I think we can all agree on that. And if you don't agree with it, then rage at me down there in the comments. That's fine. But I found it really interesting that the whole purpose of a shaming is to make someone feel shame so that they can think how you think, or to make them do what you want them to do, and how utterly useless it is when that person that you are attacking doesn't feel shame. I mean, you're literally just screaming out into an echo chamber, like, everybody, let's just gang up and agree that this person's a douchebag. And that's fine, but the person, if it doesn't affect them, what's the point? Is it solidarity? It's solidarity? And then you have the other side of things, which is the Schadenfreude, with people so happy to be destroying a life because they deem that person worthy of life destruction. So judge, jury, executioner, that's pretty much what social media has become. But all that stuff is in this book. I highly recommend you go and read this. Yes, even you conservatives out there going, this damn liberal don't know what he's talking about, fat ass. But I want you to go and I want you to read it for yourself and see if you don't agree with Jon Ronson's point, because it is a very, I don't think it's a very conservative message. I don't think there's really a message at all, other than the fact that he does a journalist's job. An unbiased journalist's job is to go out and to seek out the story and to tell the story without your own little viewpoints. Now, he does sprinkle in how he feels throughout, but he also at some point feels shame in himself for the way he reacted, and I appreciated that a lot. But until next time, I have been E, you've been you, this has been another book review. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye! Y'all, look at this. My hair is soaked. I bet you it's at least 90 degrees out here. Look at it glisten. Look at it glisten. That's nasty. I'm sorry. Someone out there is severely triggered right now. Just curl up and go, stop showing us your sweaty handy.